Well, this is my last video of the year, and it's time for me to look back at all the games that I reviewed this year to see which ones I enjoyed the most. This list was much harder to come up with, as I played a lot of good games for the Wii this year, but I think I've done a good job of finding 10 worthy games that I reviewed that really stood out. Like I said in my top 10 worst of 2009 video, I only review Wii, Virtual Console, and WiiWare games. I tend to only review third-party family games, as most reviewers won't do a fair review of those titles, but I do occasionally do a Nintendo-made game or an M-rated title, as this list will show. But I would say about 80% of my reviews are going to be games that you've never played or never heard of. Also, once again, this is a list of the top 10 best games that I reviewed this year, not a list of the best games that came out in 2009. And with that said, here we go. Number 10. Ghostbusters. I fully admit to being a Ghostbusters fanboy, but even my son, who doesn't like the series the way I do, enjoyed this game for its simplistic yet rewarding gameplay. There's just something really fun about slamming ghosts into a wall to weaken them. At the end of the level, they'll total up how much damage you've done, and that's your score. Or in other words, how much the city has to pay. The whole idea of encouraging you to do as much destruction as possible seems backwards. You would think they would give you a set amount of money that you could earn for the job, and they would deduct for the damages you would do. But they don't. They pay you your whole fee, and they pay for the damages you do as well. So the Ghostbusters have decided to make a game of it, and destroy as much as possible. What a bunch of jerks! Not only do they imprison some innocent ghosts for the crime of just existing, but they also play a game of destroying as much of the locations they are visiting as possible. Number 9. Gold's Gym Cardio Workout. I was very surprised at the workout this title gave me. It really did a number on my arms. I've never done rhythmic boxing before, and I have to say that it works perfectly with this game. It read my motions almost perfectly, and you don't need a Wii Fit board to play this title, which is a plus if you don't have one. But if you do, it also has some exercises for it as well. Now, when you first start up the game, you have to make your character. It's a simple fake me maker, but it did the trick. And there were enough facial variations to make it kind of look like you. After that, you had to input your age, height, and weight. It was a bit amusing that when you turned up the number on the weight, you would start to see the character fill out. Look at those man breasts, or as I call them, moobies. Number 8. Mini Ninjas. The game offers a somewhat open world to explore, good graphics, and entertaining gameplay. Plus the motion controls, while not overused, work perfectly. What'd you think of the level designs?
They're very unique. I mean, I like their clever level design.
Basically, it's a linear level design. But the thing is, the levels are so huge, there's many ways you can get from point A to point B. Number 7. Wii Sports Resort. While I didn't like some of the games it had to offer, I do have to admit that the Wii Motion Plus did make a difference in playing the games. The precision it brought was amazing, especially in archery, frisbee, and fencing. Skydiving. Now this wasn't bad. It was kind of fun to fall out of an airplane and link up with other skydivers for pictures and formations. However, this is definitely the most messed up game in this whole collection. If for the body count alone, many Miis will die horrible unseen deaths in this skydiving game. What do I mean? Well, you see the many people around you while you're diving, but the only ones allowed to survive by opening their parachutes are the ones who link up with you for a picture in the end. The rest have to fall to their deaths. That's really nice, Nintendo. Number 6. Klonoa. This game has a great feel of playing a 2D game in a 3D environment. I haven't had this much fun playing a third-party 2D platformer in a while. The graphics look great for a Wii game, and while the story did get a little dark at times, it was still fun to play out. There were a ton of cutscenes in this game, almost to the point of obnoxiousness. And that's saying something coming from me, from a person who loves cutscenes. Thank God they were skippable. What'd you think of the cutscenes?
I think they were a little too violent. Too violent. Do you remember when Klonoa is a...
Whoa, 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 whoa. You know why I had to bleep that out? Because you just gave away a huge spoiler to this game. You can't do that.
And it's...
Stop that! I only have so many sound effects I could use. Number 5. Punch-Out! I have always loved the Punch-Out series, and this is from a guy who doesn't like boxing games. There's just something very addictive about the series. Maybe it's the emphasis on finding hidden secrets and tricks to defeating all the fighters. It's not just a button masher like most boxing games, as it takes strategy and patience to win. In between rounds, they treat you with banter between the coaches and the fighters at each corner. The one thing that I didn't get was Little Mac's conversation is subtitled, but the other fighters aren't. In fact, a lot of the times they spoke a different language. I don't have a problem with that, but they should have translated what they were saying. I really had no idea what they were saying, but I was pretty sure I knew what Glass Joe was saying. I am French, so that means I must give up, for that is what we do. Number 4. Lit. This is the only WiiWare game on this list, and it completely deserves to be here. Lit is a fantastic puzzle game, and can be really frightening at times. While the gameplay itself has no sense of any kind of reason or logic, as my review pointed out, the game itself is very challenging and fun. Some of the lights that you can use to travel around in the room don't make any sense at all. Why would a classroom have a bunch of rotating lights? In fact, why would anybody buy a rotating light for their house or classroom? It would seem like it would be incredibly inconvenient.
Alright. Let's see what they say about the Nintendo Wii. Okay. Nintendo Wii. Why did I ever buy these rotating lights?
Number 3. Okami. I played the original PlayStation 2 game, and I loved it on that platform, and I love it here on the Wii as well. My only complaint about the game was using motion controls to attack, but even that you'll get used to. The game is as gorgeous, fun, and replayable as it was on the PlayStation 2. One of the strangest things in this game is when Amaterasu starts to run, she expels plants from her booty. And as strange as it may sound, it's not the first time that I've seen a game with an animal that expels something wondrous from its butt. In the game My Horse and Me, one of the mini-games, the horse would shoot rainbows out of its rear end. So that has to lead me to this question. Which one's cooler? While it is pretty impressive that a horse is so magical that it can produce rainbows out of its backside, the ability of Amaterasu to make plants and flowers come out of her derriere really is more useful. I just wish I had her when I was playing Harvest Moon. Number 2. Harvest Moon Animal Parade. Poor Harvest Moon. It never seems to be able to get out of the number 2 spot on my top 10 list, as last year's number 2 was Harvest Moon Tree of Tranquility. While this game was harder than Tree of Tranquility, it was also more rewarding, engaging, and once again completely addicting to play. The more you use an item, like a watering can or an axe, the more it will level up. And if you level it up enough, it'll let you do a power-up, which will let you do more powerful hits or gives you the ability to water more spaces at once. However, unlike Tree of Tranquility, you can't get these special power-ups just by using an item over and over again. You can have that special power-up all ready to go, but if you don't have the upgraded tool, you can't use it. And I thought that was utter crap. Why, if I know how to use a special move, do I have to have an iron or copper version of an item to pull it off? A watering can is a watering can. They overcomplicated this part for no good reason. Number 1. New Super Mario Bros. Wii. While I may not have enjoyed the multiplayer as much as most of you, I completely love this title's single-player game. I can't think of another game recently where I've gone back and repeatedly tried to get 100% completion in a level, and that was due to the fun and varied level designs. After you beat the boss, you go running after Peach, who's right in front of you in the airship. And instead of doing anything about it, Mario just sits there looking stupid. Okay, I get it. Mario is intimidated by the size of the airship in the first world, but he gets his way in every world. Mario! She's right there! You can make it so much easier on yourself just by jumping on the airship. It's not like you haven't jumped that high before. Stop looking at the airship like an idiot and save the girl. Instead, he decides to wait until he gets to World 8, the Koopa's homeland, to save her. Nice plan, Mario. Wait until you get to the world where Koopa has a home court advantage. Well, that's it. My list of the top 10 best games that I reviewed in 2009. As my 2-year anniversary of reviewing Wii games comes up, I want to thank all my subscribers for all your support. So this is the Wiiviewer.
And the little Wiiviewer. And the littlest Wiiviewer.
We all wish you the best as this year is coming to a close. And rest assured we'll be back next year with even more reviews. So until then, have a happy new year, and I'll see you in 2010.